for our singers and musicians, our ushers, our greeters, our hospitality team, each and every person who contributes in some way to the ministry here of City of Light. And thank you to each and every one of you. We're always appreciative of one another and the wonderful gifts that we share. Let me tell you this, your presence is a wonderful gift that you've given to each and every one of us. Your love, your light, the energy of your presence being here is a powerful gift, and it is shared so beautifully through the smiles and the words that you share, the hugs that you offer, the kind expressions, and just the hospitality of your spirit and being open and welcoming to one another. It's a powerful gift, and I want to say thank you for sharing your love and light today. We appreciate it. Well, are you ready? Are you ready to hear something that could change your life? Really? Are you ready to hear something that could change your life? Can I give you something and ask you, could you memorize it? Would you please memorize it? You know, it's wonderful, the many things that we put to memory. How many of you remember the things that you learned when you were in first grade and you began to put to memory and they became foundations and began to change your life? You know, you put together some things in memory as to how to manifest or how to work throughout this lifetime. And as you put these concepts to memory, you know what? They have had a transformational energy in your life of unfolding so many great things. So let me offer something that I'm going to ask you to put it to memory. And you to share it with yourself and to express it with yourself, to repeat it over and over again to yourself. And it's simply this. You'll find it on the screen. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Let's say it together. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Say it again. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Now this time say it like you mean it, okay? I am wonderfully and fearfully made. This is so transformational in our life. It can really change not only our life, but the world around us. Because when we are embracing this consciousness, I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Now, fearfully, let me explain that to you as we even look at the words wonderfully, breaking it down, meaning amazingly made. I am wonderfully made. I am beyond comprehension in how I am created as this being in this world. And fearfully really meaning I am respectfully or consciously or with great intention I've been made. So when we think about it in this consciousness, I am amazing in the who I am as this being in this world, but also how I am created is so thoughtfully brought about, so intentionally brought about, that how could I not just love myself? But that's our challenge in our world today. So many people are facing one of the greatest challenges in their life, and that is self-love. Really learning to love ourselves and understand that we are wonderfully and fearfully, we are amazingly created, and we are made and designed with such intention, such thoughtfulness, such respectfulness. Well, that begins to shape our consciousness about who we really are. Because in the journey of our life, we have disrespected the very creative power of the divine. We disrespected and discounted it and saying, you know what, I'm not all that fantastic. I'm not all that great. I'm not really a success. I'm not really much. And what we're really saying is the divinity within us, the very I am within us, is not very good, not very much, not very successful. It is the very power and presence that you've been made in, created in that image. And so within that, we must be monitoring our words that we may put out into this world, that we are professing when we say, I am, as we sang so beautifully. I am blessed. I am peace. I am love. I am all these wonderful things versus I'm not so great, and I'm not such a success, and I really am not that anything of great value. And so what happens is we have disrespected this very consciousness that's been laid out before us in an ancient truth thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, this teaching was laid out for us to understand the foundations of the importance of self-love within our hearts and our lives. Yes, God has made you to reveal then God's own self, to understand that you are made in this divine image to reflect that to the world around you, to reflect back. Have you ever looked in the mirror? When you look in the mirror, it reflects back the image to us. Author Louise Hay has a wonderful book, and she talks about doing some mirror work in our life and how essential that is. That you stand in front of the mirror and you speak affirmations, you speak positive words, you speak of yourself in high esteem, you speak of yourself in the words of self-love, because the mirror reflects back to you the feelings you have about you. Now, you know how it is. You look in the mirror and you go, I'm not so crazy about, well, all of a sudden you start embracing some feelings of less than. And you know how society has really taught us to feel less than rather than to feel greater? You know, our cultures have said, it is the youth, it is the young who are valued, it is those who are slim and trim, it is this or that. Those are the ones of high esteem, and those are the ones that we value in this world in some shape or form, rather than understanding that who we are is this divine expression of God, and that's what we value in this world. We value each and every one of us. Now, we have been an expression of the divine, and some of our temple of the Lord, shall we say, bodies, have taken on some different shapes and forms, but they're beautiful in the journey that they tell something wonderful about the journey of our lives. I have many antiques in my home, and I love the stories that I could imagine unfolding of the journey of this antique piece, a piece that's 200 to 300 years old. And you wonder where it's been. But you look at it and you see its shape and its carving, its design from a particular period in history and how it's survived throughout all those years. And you open up a drawer and you may find some of the little cracks and some of the little nooks that are just beaten down, or where the wood is not as smooth as what it might have been in as a contemporary piece. But you know what? In society, antiques are highly valued. They're cherished because they have weathered the storms and they have a beautiful story to tell. Yet in society, we have somehow said that as people age, they are no longer of value, they're no longer appreciated. But yet you're like fine wine. You've now come to a wonderful sense of being seasoned and flavored, and we need to highly honor that and value that and respect that. Now, years ago, when I was living in Kenya, as a young man, I was referred to as a kijana. A young man sort of wet behind the ears, not very knowledgeable because you're just a kid, But when you got your first gray hair, you would be moved to mzee, mean respected one, honored one. And I can remember those years thinking, wow, I can't wait to get my first gray hair because then, suddenly I'll be respected and valued. Then I moved, unfortunately, to America. And the United States was like, wait a minute, you've got gray hair, you're no longer valued. You're no longer, we don't want mzee, we want kijana. It was a wonderful shift in this world that you go through, and you had to laugh at it because you thought, wow, maybe I need to go back there because suddenly now I have achieved this sense of a recognition of years of survival, years of life. I want to encourage you to look in the mirror and not so much look at the physical aspects and judge yourself by that. But I want you to look deep into the soul and the journey that your soul has traveled, the journey of your life and how it's gone through all those things like an antique may have gone through. It has been passed down from family to family or home to home, and it's that piece of furniture has survived and maybe has a little bumps and nicks and scars on it. But what it's reflecting is simply its survival and its great beauty in each element of and bringing about greater character. In fact, many antique dealers say an antique or piece of furniture that has some sense of nooks or crannies that are just scratched up a little bit in some ways reflect even more its value, reflecting an age, a timelessness. So let's look at that from each and every one of us. When we look in the mirror, what are we saying to ourselves? What are we saying? We're talking really about our spirit and our soul. Because when we look into the mirror and we speak to the mirror, we're actually taking a moment where we're becoming immediately aware of what we are resisting and where we're open to some spirit flowing within us. Because we may look in the mirror and go, ooh, oh, hey, well, and we may pass judgments. But that begins as us to understand, wait a minute, what are the feelings you're feeling that you're projecting into this mirror that are reflecting back? It clearly shows you that what thoughts you will need to change in your life if you want to have more of a joyous, fulfilling life. So you're looking into this mirror and you're speaking to this mirror. And you begin to be proclaiming the I am, and you begin to work through this as you begin to look into the mirror. I am blessed. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am successful. I am all these things in the wonderful affirmations. And you learn to do this mirror work, and what happens is you become more aware of the words you say, and you become more aware of the words of the things that you do that are damaging and holding you back in the journey of self-love. You'll learn to take care of yourself on a deeper level than you've ever done before if you do some mirror work. So I encourage you, go home, stand in front of that mirror, speak to that mirror, look back to it, and let it reflect back to you your highest and best as you begin a journey of some self-love, loving who you are as a divine creation. Because then what happens as you speak in front of this mirror, when something good happens in your life, you can go to the mirror and say, thank you, thank you. That's terrific. Thank you for doing this. And you can speak that to the mirror and let it be reflected back to you. You need to let that affirmation, those positive words be reflected back to you. We don't do it enough. We hear compliments from other people and, we go, yeah, well, that's nice. Thank you. I'm not really all that great. Or, you have that low self-esteem when someone maybe compliments you. But when you do it to yourself and you're speaking to the mirror and you're saying these things, thank you, that's terrific. Thank you for doing this amazing thing. Or even if something bad happens to you, you can go to the mirror and say, okay, I love you. This thing just happened, it's going to pass. And I still love you. I love you. And that's forever. See how valuable this can be in our spiritual life? Because it's essential we've come to this understanding of the divine gift within us, of God's presence, and to love it. The mirror reflects back to you the feelings you have about yourself, and it makes you so immediately aware of what you are resisting and where you are holding back and what you need to transform and change. So you will learn as you do this mirror work to become so much more aware of what God has intended for you to be and to do as you look into the mirror and say, wait a minute, I see amazing things unfolding. I see God's goodness. I see the gifts of God unfolding within my life. Loving yourself really helps you move to a higher awareness of God in you, through you, around you, and ever for you. We say that phrase quite often, and we have it on this wonderful banner over here. God in me, God around me, God through me, God working ever for me. And that unfolds to a higher level of understanding when you begin to say, you know what? I value myself. I love myself. I love who I am. I love where I am. And I love how the divine is unfolding through me. It helps us move from the world of limitations to the world of infinite possibilities. Because when we move from this realm in our thinking of third dimension, where it's all just, there are just 3D possibilities only, to moving to a spiritual consciousness that says, I see infinite possibilities in the divine. That transformation helps you be moved to a place where you can look now and see the world and others as infinite possibilities and infinite expressions of God. As we look to the world around us and all of its diversity, and we look around all diverse orientations, gender expressions, races, sexualities, ages, and so much more, we say, well, God is expressed in infinite ways. All kinds of possibilities are there for us to see the divine. Aren't you glad that God is not only expressed in one way through one individual or one particular look or image, but we see God in the mountains and God in the valleys, God in the oceans and God in the deserts, God in the tall and God in the short, God in the black and God in the white, God in the straight and God in the gay, and God in those who are facing challenges that may be seen as handicapped, and those who are healthy and whole. You go see there's so much diversity. There are infinite ways that God can express God's own self, and no two people are alike, and there is only one of you. So love yourself, because you're the only one like it. And you're the only one, and you have a special design, a unique expression to give to this world, and how essential it is. Jesus was giving the most valued commandments in a conversation one day. It's written in the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 30. And Jesus says, the most important of all the commandments is this. Hear this, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And this is really inviting us to love the God within us with all of our heart, with all of the feelings, with all the emotions. Loving God with all of your mind, loving you as the expression of God with all of your strength. And the second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. So it's crucial you love yourself so you know how to love your neighbor. Because this is so essential. If we don't know how to love ourselves, there's no way we can love others around us. We can't give what we don't have. So if we don't have love, if we don't have peace, if we don't have this self-love within us, how can we share with someone else? Our world is full of all kinds of people who are bound by the spirit of negativity, criticism, critical energies, being so, shall we say, a downer in the world because essentially they haven't experienced the power of self-love in their life. They haven't really followed this commandment that Jesus gave. They haven't really found that this is so essential for this life. For this verse highlights the importance of how our love or loving ourselves is linked to loving other people. The command to love others presupposes this essential element that you must have a healthy self-love first and foremost. If you're really going to love the world around you, you must have a healthy self-love to begin with. As we love and care for ourselves, you know what happens? We become better equipped. That's right, better equipped to love others. We're going to be better at it. You want to be a lover of the world? Begin right here at home within. Begin, as we might say, with the mirror work that we gave as an example. Begin by doing the affirmation work within you that says, I know who I am. Sing that chorus over and over again. I am blessed. I am love. I am peace. Let this be your mantra for your days as you begin to equip yourself so you can love others at a deeper level. This self-love means that you can accept yourself fully. That's right. Accept yourself as you are. Treat yourself then with kindness and respect. When you really love yourself, you offer this element of kindness to you and a respect for yourself. You nurture your growth and your well-being. And as you love yourself, you're loving this divine presence intimately that's innately within you. And you no longer call the I am with you less or failure or poor, or unable. Now, when you love yourself, you have this overall positive feeling of yourself, which is really nice. Isn't it nice to feel positive about yourself? Isn't it nice to feel that sense of having a positive energy? But it doesn't mean that you feel positive about yourself all the time, because that would be unrealistic. For example, you can temporarily feel, I'm upset, and I'm angry. I'm disappointed in myself, but I still love myself. It's so essential that we understand this. And if I love myself enough, I know where I need to make changes because I love myself and I care for myself and I respect myself. So I need to know the changes I need to make because I simply love myself. I am willing to take care of them, to address them. And so I know that when moments come across me where my mood may be shifted or anger or disappointment comes, I know the changes I need to make. I know the outlook I need to change, to have a different view or a different perspective. Because without self-love, what happens is we become highly critical. We fall into people-pleasing or even to levels of perfectionism. You know, you're more likely to tolerate abuse or mistreatment from others if you don't love yourself. So you allow others to mistreat you. You may neglect your own needs and feelings because you don't love yourself. So you don't focus on what you may need, essentially. You may sabotage or make decisions that aren't in your best interest because you don't love yourself. You don't honor yourself. You don't respect yourself. And this self-love then is so essential that Jesus spoke of it and saying, this is what we need to do as we evolve in this world, as we move each and every day. So essential that he spoke these words. Then we say, well, do we really need to love ourselves? We need to focus more on loving God, but God is within you, and you are that expression. So what happens is when you begin to engage in self-love, you become more assertive in a good way. You set boundaries in a good way. You create healthy relationships with others. You begin to practice self-care. You pursue other interests and goals, and most importantly, you begin to feel proud of who you are. Today, around the world, people are celebrating LGBTQI and so much more, pride. They're celebrating that which began as a movement in 1969 of liberation and expressing civil rights and freedoms, and that birthed out of a pride within themselves that said, I'm valuable, that gave them this ability to set some boundaries, and we're not going to take this anymore, and we're going to practice self-care, and we're going to be proud of who we are. A lot of people say, oh, pride, that's something that's, no one should be prideful. But we should have a sense of healthy pride within our lives. And we do this to so many other communities as well. We celebrate Black history to invoke pride in the African American community. We celebrate women's history to invoke pride in women and their journey of their life. Hispanic Awareness Month to evoke pride and people to be proud of who they are culturally. Pan-Pacific Month. Father's Day is a pride day to celebrate pride of being a father. Mother's Day to celebrate pride of being who you are as a mother. Grandparents' Day, I love that one, where we can be proud of who we are. And how about 4th of July, American independence, to have pride in your nation? You see, pride is something that's been essential in so many dimensions and levels, and we express it. And it's a healthy sense of, I know who I am, and I'm proud of it, and I have a level of self-love. Because today we celebrate it with others around the world, the LGBT pride, and pride in so many different levels, because we recognize the need of self-love, and that it is a pride awareness that each and every one needs to have. An awareness in the fact that we are wondrously and fearfully made. And that's what we're all invoking, is that you're wondrously and fearfully, respectfully, intentionally, consciously made, designed in such a wonderful way that you can have this sense of pride in who you are. We here at City of Light are encouragers of self-love. We're encouragers of self-love. We encourage you to love yourself. We encourage all the different diverse communities of our world to love ourselves. We celebrate these different festivals, offering opportunities for people to celebrate with joy of who you are. For self-love isn't really about showing off how great you are in a sense of arrogance, but it's a healthy way that people may know that even though we're flawed or we make mistakes or we're not perfect, we're perfectly imperfect. And that's what it's all about. We're perfectly imperfect. And those flaws and those shortcomings are not to be discounted, but to be valued in many ways, because they're the things that are projects for us to work on, to improve, to develop, to go through this life with a sense of evolution of the soul, working on each and every one of those aspects, because you're perfectly imperfect. So here's a tip to help you get started on the spiritual pathway of self-love. I want you to identify one loving thing you can do for yourself today. What's one loving thing you can do for yourself right here now? Think about it. It could be a supportive thought. Maybe just, I need to change my thinking about myself. I'm going to start thinking differently. I'm going to support myself. Or maybe there's an action you want to do. And I want you to write down what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. Okay? Because there's a lot of things like, oh, here's a good thing. I'll do it someday. No. You got to start doing it. When am I going to do this? So I'm going to start thinking positively about my life now. So write that out. Or I'm going to start doing something that's affirming. right now, or I'm starting it tonight or tomorrow, or I'm going to make this change in the journey of my life. I'm going to do this. And as you add more and more loving thoughts and actions to your daily life, you know what's going to happen? They're going to start crowding out all of your self-defeating thoughts that you've been having, that you've been holding. Those self-defeating behaviors. You're going to start seeing a shift as you say, this is what I'm thinking, this is my action, this is what I want to do, and here's when I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. And before you know it, you begin to remove all of those things that are holding you back. And with this practice, self-love then becomes your second nature. It becomes exactly how you live. For when we learn this lesson, we're able to move higher into a higher dimension of consciousness and awareness. I love myself. I love the divinity within me. I love my world around me. I love my community around me. And I start moving up higher in dimensional thinking. I love myself. I can love my neighbor. I'm unique. I know who I am. My neighbor is unique. I know and I love all this uniqueness in this world. Yet we are all of a sense of oneness. It's a beautiful illustration of a gorgeous diamond with the many facets on it. And as you turn that diamond and shift it, each facet reflects light in a unique and different way. But we're all part of that very same diamond. I can love myself in all my faults and all my shortcomings. I can love my neighbor in their faults and their shortcomings. It then becomes much easier for us then to live in this expression of, I want to create a world that works for everyone. Because right now I'm creating the world that works for me with self-love. And I know in that self-love, I can work to create a world for others that works for them. Not just a few, but works well for them. So today, the ancient truth given to us thousands of years ago is our truth. It's our truth. We are wondrously and fearfully made. Say it again with me. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. I want you to memorize that. I want you to hold that on as your daily mantra. I know who I am. I am this divine creation, beautifully created, gorgeously created, amazingly created, created with all the essence of expression of God within me and with such intention and design. Did you ever pause and think how unique you are, how special you are in that uniqueness, and how God thought that this component called Roberto, this component called Holly, this component called Greg, this component called Amy, all of these components, you might say, are essential to the overall workings of this universe. And you are uniquely designed. Begin to love yourself. For in this kind of understanding, we can love our life, as we sang today. We can love ourselves, and most of all, we can love the self. With self-love, we can love God who dwells within. Say it with me. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Amen. In this great spirit of acknowledgement of the divine working in our lives, God gives us this opportunity to give back. I love that. Not only do we receive of God's blessings, and we know we live in the realm of God's infinite blessings, but we get a chance to share a portion back. I want you to join with me in the words you'll find on our screen as this affirmation, and as we share together as we prepare to offer our gifts. Would you join with me? City of Light is a thriving community that is experiencing the abundance of God. We are growing and flourishing because we believe and practice the teaching of spiritual truth. As we give and receive, we join now in the divine flow. We know that all we share with life returns to us multiplied abundantly, and so it is. As the ushers come, let us share our gifts. Let's give the band a round of applause. Thank you for the great job. Today, they're going to be playing live music during our reception after our service today. The band's going to be moving out into Friendship Commons, and we're going to enjoy some great music while we're having wonderful fellowship together. As we conclude our service today, let's proclaim this wonderful truth that there is peace. It's that inner peace that comes from self-love, peace within our life because we do love ourselves, honor ourselves, celebrate ourselves for who we are as divine creations. It begins in us and it's flowing out of our lives as we proclaim it together. Join with us in singing this chorus.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as my center, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me.
Would you pray with me? Let's pray together. The divine presence of God is moving in, through, around, and ever for us. And as we acknowledge that in this moment, it inspires us to a greater understanding of self-love. For we're loving the I am within us. We're loving the I am presence, power, majesty, infinite possibilities, wisdom. We're loving that which is innately within us, for we have been wondrously and fearfully made. Wondrously an amazing form and amazing consciousness, and thoughtfully and intentionally designed for this purpose in our own unique ways. So we celebrate this today, and we invite everyone to a greater understanding of loving themselves and living out that self-love that enables them to love the world in greater ways than ever before, to express love flowing from within and flowing through and around them, that it touches the world around. We are so grateful for this experience of knowing that as the ancient truths resounded thousands of years ago, they're alive today. That this commandment, love yourself, and do so in loving your neighbor the same way. For we do unto others as we'd have others do unto us. We accept this truth for our lives, as together as people of self-love share this with gratitude and appreciation, saying together these words, and so it is. Amen.
To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me.
We want to say thank you to those who are joining us through our social media. We're excited to share with you that we have hit 600 viewers. It's amazing. The last couple of weeks, our audience has been growing by great numbers, and we're delighted to welcome each and every one of you to our celebration service each week. I want you to know that we're here to help you, to guide you, to serve you, to assist you on your spiritual journey as well. If there's something I can do for you as your pastor, reach out to me at revtpaul@aol.com. I'd love to hear from you and let me know how I can be of a blessing to you. Know that we're praying for you and believing with you for the highest and best. If you're in the Atlanta area, please join us at 3125 Presidential Parkway here in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you have been touched by today's message, I invite you to share a gift. There are various different ways that you can make a donation for the support and ministry work of City of Light. You can Zelle your gift, or you can go to our website. The information will be going across your screen to assist you as to how you can be a contributor of the wonderful ministry here at City of Light that's reaching around the world. Now, for those of you who are gathered here, we're all going off to celebrate with a wonderful meal together. The band providing us great music and a wonderful celebration today. God bless you. Let us go in peace. Amen.